Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's Monday night panel. I hope everybody's got over the game on Saturday and the hearts have started to calm down a bit now. We're going to go straight into our interviews, and then there's a couple of announcements to make, but we'll do that before we go on to the panel part of the show. So let's introduce Vic. Hi, Vic.
Hi, Chris. How are you this evening? Okay?
I'm very well. And you?
Well, fingernails to be chewed. Let's put it like that.
It's going to be a long week, isn't it?
It's going to be a long week. I think that's
going to be a long week. So,
yeah.
So shall we start and get our special guest on, who's raring to go? So let's bring on Joe. Hiya, Joe. You okay?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I'm all good. Thank you.
Good. Brilliant. So everybody, just pop any questions you have in the comments box. We'll get through as many as we can as usual. And I will now leave Joe and Vic, and we'll come back a bit later.
Chris, thanks very much indeed. We're really pleased that you could join us tonight, Joe. And I'm going to ask you about your fitness in a minute. But do you want to hold up your Dan Designs mug? Have you got that handy?
I got my mug with me. Thank you, Dan. Yes.
Yeah. Give him a plug because the boy deserves it.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Lovely. I got mine on the shelf behind me, but I don't know whether you can see them there. Not of me, obviously, but we've all got Dan Designs mugs, which is marvellous. Right, and let's find out how you are first and foremost. Leighton Orient, it was when it happened, and we're all desperately disappointed that it did happen. You, obviously, more so than anybody else. How are you?
Yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm gutted. The Leighton Orient game, I felt good going into the game. That was a team, we felt good, and then about half an hour in, I went in for a big tackle, and then I just felt my knee straight away. I knew something was wrong. I tried playing on. I got till half time, and then I got in at half time, and the S&C and the doctor had a look at me, and they said, "Yeah, there's no chance that you can play on." So I was gutted. I was sat on the bench, obviously, and it wasn't a great second half for the team. So yeah, it wasn't a great day. I then went for a scan the next day, and it wasn't the results weren't as I wanted. So yeah, it was such a shame that it's come to an end the way it has for me. But I've loved my time at Swindon, that's for sure.
Yeah, local boy, of course. So you know how much this all means to everybody. You sat in the town end, didn't you, recently? And you'll have known the atmosphere. Were you there Saturday? Did you have to go back? You're at Peterborough at the minute. Were you able to go Saturday?
I was able to be there Saturday. Yes, I was there. Yes, and last Tuesday night I was there for both of those games. Yes.
Yeah, how did you feel as a fan? Because you are a fan. I mean, you're like the same as us. I mean, Tuesday night was like having your fingernails drawn out very slowly, and Saturday was pretty much the same, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard watching sometimes when I'm looking and I'm seeing the county ground was just amazing as it was. Both of those games last Tuesday and Saturday, it was fantastic. The atmosphere was amazing. The fans were brilliant. I just wanted to be out on the pitch. I was kicking the ball with all the players out there. But yeah, they were both tough games to watch as a fan. I thought we should have been 5-0 up on Saturday, to be honest. And then obviously to see them score, I thought, oh no, we go again. But then obviously Reedy stepped up and scored a great goal. So yeah, the changing room was buzzing after as well. And obviously walking around the pitch at the end, thanking the fans, it was fantastic. And I was just gutted that I couldn't have played a part of it on the pitch.
13,500 for a game against Barrow in League 2, well, the fourth division, effectively. That's pretty good, isn't it?
That's fantastic. So I was involved in a lot of championship games the first half of the season, and that's a hell of a lot more than a lot of those games got. So it's fantastic, and that's why it's such a brilliant club.
In terms of, I've got loads here coming in already for you, which we'll get to in a minute. We played Peterborough, of course, in a pre-season friendly. Were you involved in that?
That was my first game for Peterborough, yes. I literally signed 2 days before, and that was my first game, yes. That was brilliant. I remember there being 4,000 fans for that pre-season game, which was just incredible.
Yeah, you'll be well aware, of course, that came just after the takeover.
Yes.
How closely did you follow all that?
Oh, yeah, I've always, ever since I was a little boy, I've never actually played for Swindon, but I've always followed Swindon. Obviously, that's where I'm from. It's my hometown. And obviously I knew everything that was going on, and then I saw, and obviously with different things in the summer, I kind of heard that they were going to have new owners come in, when it came in, and obviously it was such a great reaction straight away, and Clem's been fantastic, and all the staff that have come in have been brilliant.
What's the mood in the dressing room? I mean, after Saturday, of course, we're in the playoff places in Swindon's own hands now, which it wasn't before. What's the mood in the dressing room?
It's confident. It's confident. We believe we can do it. We believe we're going to get promoted. We believe this season we should have been in the automatic spots. Really, we believe as a team we're that good. We believe we're the best team in the league, and we're just frustrated that results haven't shown that. But we're so confident. The boys are so confident. They know they can do it. So there's a real belief within the boys, especially after conceding the goal on Saturday and then scoring the winner, and on Tuesday night going down to 10 men and holding on for the win. There's a massive belief in the team that we can beat anyone on our day.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps earlier in the season with the home form the way it had been, once they equalised on Saturday, we might have seen a different way it finished. But to have come back with that fabulous finish by Louis Reed, which was a really terrific goal, wasn't it? Then the place is buzzing. But then, for goodness sake, 8 minutes of injury time, where did that come from?
I know. I think everyone around the ground, as soon as that went up, everyone took a gasp of breath, because that was I don't know where that came from. But the boys did fantastic to hold out. Obviously, them scoring the equaliser and then us coming back and scoring the goal. It was brilliant, and it was a fantastic atmosphere.
I love the way you say us and we. That's fantastic. This is from Paddy. Big respect to Joe, true governor, great fella. And I think, you know, I was at Harrogate. You came off. You had a wonderful reception when you came off at Harrogate. That must have given you a really warm feeling when that happened.
The Harrogate game was special for me. It really was special. I was frustrated. Gaffer, I was very frustrated to be taken off. I didn't want to come off. However, I made sure I did walk around the pitch to the fans, and the reception I got before I'd even got to them, I could hear them chanting my name, and that was very special. That was a special moment to me, and I loved that, and I can't thank the fans enough for that.
Right. Well, let's get into some of these questions then. Let me give you some of the comments, and you can explain your situation, right? And what you can and can't say. Rich James says, "Hi Joe, are you staying with the club?" There you go. It's pretty direct. Kevin says, "Is Joe contracted to Peterborough and plans for new season if he can say?" James Spencer, say hi to Joe from his sponsors, Trust SCFC. Amazing guy and player. Come back, Joe. And Stephen says, "What are the big differences between Peterborough and the Swindon squads?" Well, let's get into your situation, because you are contracted to Peterborough, aren't you? That is the situation.
Yeah, I signed when they bought me in the summer, I signed a 3-year contract. So at the end of the season, I'll have another 2 years. Yes.
Right. So next season and the season after, you are with Peterborough. I mean, the only way, I guess, is you want to play regular football, don't you? I mean, that's as simple as that, really.
I do want to play regular football. I didn't play as much as I would have liked in the first half of the season, which is why then I wanted to go out on loan, and straight away, as soon as Swindon were interested, there was only one club I wanted to go to. The gaffer was brilliant with me. I had chats with him, and he was fantastic. So yeah, I wanted to come here, and I came. The gaffer put his trust in me, and I loved it. And I played the games, and I learned so much. I developed so much in my short time. I think it was 10 games I played. I developed and learned so much. So next season, I'm still only young, so I know that at the moment, at this stage in my career, I need to be playing football. And I would say I love my time at Swindon, and if I don't get the games I want to play at Peterborough, then who knows? We'll see. The gaffer, I'm sure, Ben Garner, I'll be on the phone. He'll be ringing me. I'll be on the phone to him. So we'll see what happens. I can't say too much, but I want to be playing football next year. And if that's at Swindon, then that's at Swindon.
Fair enough. I think we get where you would like to go if you had a change, you were to make a change, and it's lovely to hear that. Jason says, "Have you been asked to sign next season?" Well, you're at Peterborough for the next 2 years, so we'll leave it at that. I think it's fair to say. Henry says, "Hope to see you back next season. Always great to have a local boy playing for his hometown club. Top player." And Rich says, "Joe, you are my favourite player." I mean, you've already got quite a fan club, to be fair. I mean, there are dream debuts and there are dream debuts, aren't there? And there you are, popping up with a goal. A disappointing result in the end, of course, against Exeter. But if you're going to score, you might as well score it in town then, mightn't you?
Honestly, that was... I signed on the Tuesday, on the Monday, the last day of the window. It was the Monday. And I came to I wasn't registered in time for the game against Crawley on the Tuesday. It was Crawley at the CG. And I was at the game. I went to that game, and I remember just watching the game, just thinking I can't wait to be out here on Saturday. And then from that moment on, I was just thinking about scoring. Literally, it was all in my head. Was got to score on my debut. I'm going to score on my debut, and then turned up to the game, and I genuinely believed I was going to be scoring. And I had, I feel like I should have had more. I had a chance in the first half. I should have scored, and I had a couple of efforts. And then see McCurdy played me the balls in a bit of space, had a shot, and as you can see from the pictures, my face tells it all. Really, it was a fantastic feeling growing up. Obviously, as a Swindon boy, coming to watch Swindon on my debut, scoring in front of the town end. I mean, what more do I need to say today? It was a fantastic feeling. Unfortunately, football isn't all fairy tales, and so we went on to lose the game, which was heartbreaking. But at the same time, I loved it. From that moment on. I loved it.
Cracking finish as well, if I remember rightly, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. More of these coming in. The thing about those two games, and I think we're talking about the last two home games, heads didn't drop after sending off on Tuesday. Of course, Ellis Angelo got sent off, and the equaliser Saturday. And Dan Designs, I recognise that mug. So he's watching. There it is again. Look, very nice. Yeah, I think that's fair to say, isn't it? Because those results could have gone against Swindon, couldn't they? And I think we were talking earlier on, maybe earlier on in the season, when Swindon's home form was a bit iffy, to say the very least, it might have gone the other way on Saturday once the equaliser went in. But the spirit and that finish from Louis Reed, terrific.
You're right, and if we're going to get promoted, then you need those moments. Those are very big moments. Going down to 10 men, we could have sat back and conceded another one against Forest Green and come only away with a point, and then everything changes again. So we did so well to hold out then, and then on Saturday again a point would have changed us. I think we jumped from 6th to 8th. Obviously Rovers scored a last minute winner, but before that that one goal put us from 6th to 8th. I was looking at it on my phone, and then the reaction from the boys was brilliant. And as you say, these are the moments we need if we're going to get promoted. So it was an important goal, and it's left it in our hands.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your reading of the situation? Because the results this afternoon, just in case you haven't heard them, Salford 2, Mansfield 2. That puts Salford out of it. Port Vale 1, Newport 2, which is a surprise result, being in mind the run that Newport have been on. So Port Vale could feasibly drop out of the playoffs altogether on Saturday. Swindon still miraculously can finish third. I mean, how do you read it?
Well, to be honest, I mean, it can change so quickly. And from when I joined, I learned very quickly not to look at the table too much, because you can, if you win a game, you can jump up 3-4 spots. You lose a game, you can drop down again. So I think as a team, we didn't try to look at the table too much. We knew how good we are, and we knew we just had to win games. And obviously, it's come down to this spot now, and all we can think about again is just winning our game against Walsall. There's going to be a great travelling support. Once again, I'm so gutted I can't be playing, honestly, because that would have been just fantastic. And I was looking, as soon as all the tickets sold out, I was looking forward to that. So that was another gutting thing that I'm going to have to miss. But I think we're going to do it, and all we can think about is winning our games. Winning our game, the only game we've got left, and then hoping that results go our way. But obviously, even if we do win our game, we know we're going to be in the playoffs anyway. So that's all we can think about. And then obviously, if results go our way, then be a nice surprise full time to go up automatically.
Wouldn't it just? You're not able to go Saturday then?
Well, I hope to be there. I need to have a chat with the manager at Peterborough, because obviously they've got their last home game of the season on Saturday. So if he tells me that he needs me there for that, then unfortunately there's nothing I can do. But I would love to be there.
Yeah, well, here we are. Are you joining us in the away end on Saturday? Says Jason.
I hope to be there. I hope to be there. Yeah,
Derek says, well said, Joe. We can only worry about our own game. The general can do us a favour at Bristol, says Tony. Well, he certainly can. I mean, on paper, that looks, if you're a Bristol Rovers and you were looking to finish in the top 3, a home against Scunthorpe, that's got to be the fixture you'd want, isn't it?
For sure. They've got the easiest game out of anyone. But it's League Two. Results have changed up and down. It's fun. The pressure could mount on them. You never know. All we can think about is winning our game, and then say hope Granny can do something can help
Yeah,
us out.
that would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, he's a Swindon legend already, but I think there'd be a statue made to him if he could do something else. Yeah, fabulous. This is from Claire. Would Joe be happy to join us on loan next season? Be a great addition. I think you kind of asked that. Gutted you couldn't give me your shirt when I asked at Harrogate. Well, the thing is with shirts, and I think many people don't know this, but there aren't that many about, are there?
No, honestly, I wish I could give everyone my shirt. I really do. But unfortunately, it's not that easy. And with the kit men, they've been asking everyone not to hand out shirts. There's none left. And from when I joined, my family wanted home shirts, and all my friends and family wanted shirts. And I went to the club shop, and there was none left. So that was when I arrived. So the kit men are definitely scrambling for shirts, and I can only apologise to people that have asked me, and I've had to say no. I wish I could, but unfortunately, that's out of my hands.
Yeah, fair enough. And is it right you have to pay for them? If you give them away, do you have to pay for them or not?
I'm not too sure. I think we might have to pay a contribution. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. I thought, yeah. So you obviously wouldn't keep giving shirts away, would you? So your wage is gone. Would you mind hanging around for a little bit, Joe? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So if I bring the rest of the panelists on, you don't mind hanging around for another 10 minutes or so?
No, perfect. No, I can do. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah, marvellous. Okay, well, let's bring some more of them in. One or two you might recognise. Johnny Leafield from the Swindon Advertiser. Hi, Johnny. Andrew Hawes from BBC Wiltshire. You might know him. Nick Judd, formerly of 424 magazine. And Joe Rogers, also Town fan as well. So you're on with Joe Tomlinson, which is lovely to have him along. Here's one from Oliver, Joe. Ask him what it was like playing under Ian Herring. His link to Swindon. Did he talk to you after you joined?
Ian Herring, fantastic guy. He's helped me so much in my career. When I don't know if people know too much about my career, but when I was released from Brighton under 23s, I had nothing. I had no trials. I had nothing. And Ian knew my brother, and he asked me to. He was the manager at Hungerford at the time, and I asked him if I could go along just for some training sessions, just to stay fit. Went along to Hungerford in pre-season. Really enjoyed it there. Got on with him really well. He offered me a contract. After 4 months, he made me his captain at 19 at Hungerford, and he played me and put his trust in me. And I can't thank him enough for what he did for me at Hungerford. He was fantastic with me. And from then, I got my move to Eastleigh and then to Peterborough from there. So Ian Herring helped me a lot. When I didn't have much going on, he took me in and helped me develop massively. And I still keep in contact with him. And when I signed, he sent me a big welcome home message. And I've been speaking to him. He's a fantastic guy.
Yeah, brilliant. Let's have a look. Simon Batchelor says, "Hi, Joe." So there we are. Max says, "Love being next to you at Exeter. So much, too nice to see how much passion you have. You'll be there Saturday." Well, that's up to your gaffer, I guess, isn't it, really? Yeah. Well, let's go around the panel. Johnny, I guess you kept an eye on this afternoon's results, didn't you? What did you think of them?
Yeah, so me and Hannah went to Bristol and she said no phones, and I ignored that. So I needed to know the scores. Yeah, well, I think they pretty much went perfectly, didn't they? So we got out of the car earlier and I said, right, so we kind of need best case scenario, first game, we need draw. Then I think it was maybe Mansfield win. I can't remember who what. Salford win. Then whatever. And yeah, just as we're checking the scores the whole day, they seem to just be falling in our favour. So yeah, it was a pretty good day. And then the way things are kind of falling, it sort of feels like things are sort of stacking up in our favour. So it's it's in Town's hands.
Yeah, Jordan Turnbull did his very best, didn't he, Andrew, to help us win, to help Mansfield win that game this afternoon. All right, he got a goal, but then gave away a penalty. What was your sort of thoughts on this afternoon's results?
I kind of watched most of both games. I thought Mansfield looked quite good, actually, even though they drew. So they look potentially quite testing a playoff opponent should Swindon do what's required. And yeah, Port Vale really kind of struggled in the first half, especially against Newport. I think they were pretty much sold out. Now, it did look like that sort of seemed to affect them, or they just didn't play as well as they can. And Newport were quite decent, and unlike at the county ground, they carried a bit of punch up front as well.
Yeah,
they really kind of broke through. So it was quite interesting to watch the two, and then all that leaving that that tiny chance of third was rather nice.
How's that for you, Nick? Does that make you more nervous or less nervous? How are you feeling about it now?
I'm pleased we've got it's in our own hands. I think if we were going into Saturday and we had to go and and win just to even have a chance, I think would be worse. I'm pleased that Salford are out of the equation because that's one less to worry about. I think I'm looking at the form of all the teams around us. If we are to get in the playoffs, Port Vale was the sort of one I was kind of maybe looking at, who were maybe sort of in the ropiest form at the moment. But you know what? If we win again at Walsall, then we've got a few wins on the bounce. So other teams might be looking at us, but it's just nice to be in the mix, isn't it? You know, it's just nice to be in this situation. Results went our way at the weekend, so happy days. But I think someone mentioned earlier it's going to be a very, very long week.
Yeah, it's going to be a very long week indeed. J.O., if I might put it like that, to avoid confusion. Rovers look favourites, I'd say, at the minute, wouldn't you, for that automatic spot?
I think so. I mean, I think they're going to beat Scunthorpe, aren't they, at home? But, I mean, they sort of crept in because it was 3-1 on Saturday, and then suddenly they'd won 4-3 in sort of the last few minutes, and everyone around us was like, oh, God, what's happened there? To be honest, I wouldn't want them to go up, but I'd almost rather they took the third place if it's out of our reach, because I think they'll probably be the most difficult because they're in good form. So I'd rather have Port Vale or someone like that in the playoffs if we get to that.
Yeah, we want somewhere with a big away end like Vale Park rather than that tent at Bristol Rovers, which is never the most comfortable at all, is it? Right, here we go. J-O-E, if I might put it like this. Ian says, with Joe's passion for the club, future STFC captain, you'd fancy that, wouldn't you, at some point?
Yeah, 100%. Why not?
Well, there you go. You are, Johnny. You can put that in tomorrow's paper if you want.
Yeah, big shot. Hometown boy wants to be
captain of his hometown club. Yeah, fair enough. This is from Sean. The team must not take it for granted on Saturday. Walsall have turned their home form around in recent times. PJ says, I'm not sure about anyone else, but from the other teams currently in the playoffs, if we make it Saturday, I'm not worried about playing any of them. On our day, we're more than capable of battering every single one of them. And I think, Joe, that on the evidence of last Tuesday and your experience of the squad, I mean, you know, we were a bit nervous when we played as fans playing Forest Green, top of the league, etc. But from your experience of the squad, that's fair to say right now, isn't it?
100%. I agree with him completely. On our day when we play as good as we can, there's no one that's going to beat us. For me, I think we've got the best team in the league. There's no doubt in my mind about that, and I really do think if we're on our game, then our best game is a lot better than anyone else's best game in this league. That's for sure.
What's Matthew Baudry done that he's suddenly come back? He's playing like Beckenbauer at the moment. It's extraordinary.
He's always been that good. He really has. Since I come in, he's always been that good, and it's he's just getting a run of games. His fitness has been good recently. Obviously, he's been struggling with some injuries, which might have played an impact, but he's a fantastic player. He's had a great career, and he's helped me off the pitch so much as well.
I mean, that run that led to the goal against Forest Green, that was, well, football at its best, wasn't it? It was extraordinary.
As I say, he's a great player, and he's playing with confidence at the moment. And when he's playing with confidence, he's showing what he can do.
Marvellous. Kevin says, can you ask Johnny if the playoffs are still on? I've been asking him all season, and it looks good for him now. You'll remember back in August, whilst we were saying, well, if Swindon stay above the dotted line, that'll be a fantastic season after all they've been through this pre-season. When Johnny Leafield said they'll be in the playoffs at the end of the season, and we all went, really? Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, like I said, I think the some of the sort of punch, I guess, has been taken out because I also wasn't so sure around January and maybe February or whenever it was. But look, the point I made at the start of the season was I just felt something. It's a bit cliche, a bit sick. I just felt something magic was going to happen. I'd seen it. It sometimes happens to other clubs. No one, it's a true underdog story. No one expects them to do anything. But having seen just the bounce and, it's just a complete change in attitude. It was a complete 180 that Clement brought in. And then when you start looking at the players that Chorley and Garner had picked up, looking at that team going, it's actually not a bad team, to be honest. And then League Two is generally quite tight anyway. So if you've got that little extra bit of quality, which they did at the time, then yeah, I thought why not, basically. And yeah, I mean, like I said, I only really doubted them a bit. Sorry, Joe. I only really doubted them because things just seemed to be going against it. I never believed they couldn't do it. It was more when you lose Tyrese, you lose Kane, you lose in like Jordan Lydon. People are going down, like key players are going down for a month at a time, and you're left with like a 16-man squad. And as much as I really rate sort of people like George Calmedo and Harry Parsons in the long term, then I don't think, no offense to them, I don't think they're quite ready now. So it felt a bit like things were going against us. Now it feels like, especially in the last probably month or so, it really feels like everything's going for us. People are coming back. Matteo Baldry's suddenly turned, like you said, into prime Beckenbauer. It's just the results are falling our way. It just seems like everything's meant to be at the moment. So I think if we stay out of our own way, basically, and like Joe said, if they play like they know they can, no one wants to play us in the playoffs. Forget who we want to play. No one will want to play Swindon. Everyone wants Rovers Rovers or Swindon to go up automatically, so they don't have to play either of them in the playoffs. Like none of those other teams will want to play us. So, I'm 99% sure that they'll get into the playoffs now, and I'm starting to think maybe not only a goal at Wembley might be on, but the way that Clem's luck's been going, maybe we win at Wembley as well. I wouldn't write it off.
Right, score at Wembley would be nice, wouldn't it? The new one, that'd be fantastic. Brandon Cooper, of course, we lost him through injury, Joe, didn't we? And that was another big blow, really, because he was knitting it together nicely at the back, wasn't he?
Fantastic player, another great player. I've roomed with him a couple of times on our away trips, and I got to know him really well. Really good guy. It was I love playing next to him. Me and him formed a really good relationship early on. He's my age, so we got on really well. Fantastic player. It's just such a shame that what happened to him happened. I felt for him, I really do, because he's a fantastic player. He's having a great impact on the team, and I love playing next to him. I say it's just a shame that he's had the injury that he did, but I'm sure he'll be back playing at a high level very soon.
Just before you go, because I'm going to let you go in a minute. I know you got something on very shortly, so it's going to let you go in a second. But this from Tyler. Do you reckon it would feel strange for you if you get promoted and play Peterborough at the county ground and you play the team you played with this season? I mean, it's a weird one, that, isn't it? You must have played against the team you've played for before in a way. But I mean, how difficult would it be against your home team? That's a strange one, isn't it?
It wouldn't be an experience I'd be looking forward to. I mean, I'm a professional, so I'd have to put a face on and get through it. But you say hopefully I'd get a warm reception from the crowd, and that would go some way to enjoying it. But yeah, it would be tough.
Well, Joe, we wish you all the very best, and with your continued return to fitness, get well for the next season, wherever that might take you. If you were to end up in red and white, we'd all be highly delighted. But that's another day. So we wish you well. And get yourself fit as soon as possible.
Thank you. Cheers, Vic. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Great to have you along. Joe Tomlinson, thank you very much indeed. And he's obviously got other things to do this evening, but we're delighted to have him along. Thank you, Joe. You may go. Lovely. Thank you. Right, Andrew, what a great pleasure. What a great bloke. I mean, have you spoken to... You must have spoken to him before.
Yeah, we spoke to him after that Exeter game. But yes, very engaging, very engaged with the club, and I think it's an interesting thing. It's not just been him who sort of come back. I think Brandon Cooper's come back and seen games. Kane Kessler-Hayden's come back, so that it sort of strikes me as a very good sign that the players who sort of been on loan, and even though they're not involved now, are still very much kind of attached to the club and always posting on each other's Instagrams afterwards.
Yes, if only I knew what that was. Nick, I mean, one player that we had last season, I mean, bagged 4 goals on Saturday, Scott Twine. That was an extraordinary performance. And it goes to show that the club actually can produce footballers, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shame he's not doing it for us, isn't it? But I guess the best we can hope for him now is that maybe they go up, or or he gets a move off the back of this season. I mean, I'm chatting to a friend of mine was sort of saying that maybe he's not even sort of Championship. He might even be above that. It might even be Premier League standards. So, if he gets a decent move this summer, that'd be great for us. But yeah, I mean, all 4 of his goals were pretty good, weren't they? I mean, we're used to those, but all of them were pretty decent.
Yeah, absolutely. What are we thinking about the Charlie Austin rumours, Joe? There's a lot of it going around, aren't there? And there's the banner which says the return of the king. So, what are we thinking?
I don't know. I mean, he was at the game, wasn't he, on Saturday?
Yeah.
I did see him in the stand, and his wife had posted something on Twitter or something as well. And obviously that sort of started all the rumours. I mean, he'd obviously still do a job, wouldn't he, quite easily, either League One or League Two. And he's a local lad. So I don't know. I mean, I think everyone would be quite pleased if he was to come back. But whether that is a genuine option, I honestly don't know. I don't know whether his wages would be above what we would be able to pay, to be honest. But I don't know.
Have you asked that question, Johnny?
No, I was going to leave it to Andrew to ask on Friday. So I'd hide from that one. But no, I mean, yeah, the rumors are kind of fun. I think I'd heard something like a couple of weeks back and thought, no, well, obviously not. And then it started to gather a bit of steam. So I think Andrew should ask that on Friday, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not putting any pressure on you, Andrew, but that's the main.
That's fine. That's fine.
Actually, I'm doing a Q&A with Ben Garner at the Supporters Club do on Wednesday, so I'll duck out of that one and let you do it on Friday.
No,
so.
no. Yeah,
I'll take the hit for everyone. It's fine.
Well done. Scott Twine was watching Chippenham today, apparently. So nice to see that Scott, went back and watched Chippenham, who was so successful for on loan as well. Right, lots of them coming in. Apparently, Wayne says Stoke have made an offer for Twine. Do we know anything about that, Andrew?
I haven't heard anything to that. I don't. Have Stoke got the money to afford it? I'm not sure they have they?
Well,
it's not like they get parachute payments these days.
Yeah, I would imagine, of course, it depends very much on what MK do in the playoffs, doesn't it? Because they're in the playoffs. I think, is it Thursday? They're against Wickham. So lots of questions coming in. So, Nick, where are you with this? I mean, you've had dealings, I think, with Charlie Austin in the past, haven't you? So,
yeah,
what do you reckon?
I'd absolutely love it if he came back. He is definitely past his best, but I think certainly League Two, he'd probably have a bit of a field day. League One, I think he'd certainly be able to do a job, and it'd just be a bit of an iconic homecoming for a bit of a legend, wouldn't it? Really, it'd be an amazing way to kick off the season, whatever league we're in. I wonder whether whatever happens with us this season might sort of dictate whether we can afford to do anything with him. I think the wages he's going to be on now are certainly going to be on our capabilities. So it's going to be whether he wants to come back. Is he going to simply retire? Does he feel like he's got some seasons left in him? I think he's got a reasonably decent pundit career ahead of him for someone like TalkSport. He's on there loads. So if he was to come, it'd be because he wants to. And but I do wonder whether our ability to get him, whether that sort of is dictated by whether we go up or not. But Austin in League Two would be fairly ridiculous. Austin League One would be pretty good. Yeah,
it would be pretty good. What a player. Well, I keep saying he's the best natural finisher I've ever seen play for Swindon, and I've got no reason to change my mind. Simon says definitely unaffordable unless he wants back for a year before moving on to something outside football, TalkSport, and doesn't want to come back. There's more chance of me playing at Walsall than Austin coming back to STFC, says Anthony. Fair enough. Andrew says, what a roller coaster of a season. There's more twists and turns yet. Does the panel agree? Do not change the system on Saturday, Mr. Garner. Joe, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'd start with the same team on Saturday, to be perfectly honest, assuming there's no injuries been picked up or anything. I mean, Baudry has been excellent the last few games. He's taken quite a bit of stick, I think, over this season in the earlier games before he got injured. And then when he came back from injury, there was almost a bit of a collective groan on Twitter at times of, oh God, Baldry. But really, I can't remember him really putting a foot wrong. Perhaps a couple of games though when we were having a dodgy spell. But yeah, they just seem to be working well as a team. I think for me though, the key on Saturday is getting an early goal, because it could have gone so wrong on Saturday had we'd missed so many chances. We should have been 4-5-0 up really, and then suddenly they're back in the game with 8 minutes to go. We can't be in a scenario like that. My heart couldn't take it.
I mean, did anybody say why we got 8 minutes to the end, Johnny? Because everybody was scratching their heads when that came up. But what? Why?
No, well, didn't Garner said to Andrew, I think it was, isn't it? He said like the ref told them there was 4 minutes for subs or something, but we only made 2, and I think they might have made 3, so that's 2.5. Maybe it was for goals as well. There's maybe you get them 4 there, but I don't know. My memory's terrible. I don't remember
injuries. Were there
any ridiculous time wasting it? Like, not like there was a bit, but not like to have that much. I don't really know where he's got 8 from, but I thought 6 was probably the number I was expecting to see, and then there's a little more on that board, and I was like, "Excuse me." I think I might have said on the vlog, like, "Oh goodness me, no!" Like, I'm absolutely sweating at this point. I haven't written the match report at all because I'm just thinking, no, I'm not going to tempt fate. I can't deal with this. But yeah, I think I thought the ref was consistent. Would probably be the nicest thing I could say about it. He was consistently strict, I think. I thought he had a decent game overall, but yeah, I'm not sure we got 8 minutes from.
He was the same ref apparently who gave us 2 penalties against Macclesfield in the 95th and 96th minute, wasn't it? Is that right?
Great guy. Always rated him. Always rated him. That man.
Great ref. Yeah, brilliant. And that on the top, Andrew, of that interminable 10 minutes or so against Forest Green. I mean, what are they doing to us?
I don't know. There's clearly Swindon games are so exciting. We must be given maximum value for money by at least like 8 minutes additional time. But no, I think it is. I think it is gradually aging all of us at this stage, and that's before Saturday. I don't quite know where 8 minutes came from. The only thing was I did notice that every time the ball was out of play, Phil Brown was out going like this, pointing like he got some new luxury Rolex or something like that. So whether that finally sort of permeated the brains of the kind of fourth official and so on, but no, it's been a long time for both. But actually, kind of thinking back, by and large, they've done pretty well in sort of just kind of seeing the game out and making it scruffy for both of those matches.
Yeah, let's have a look. On that theme, Steve says Phil Brown was doing the timekeeping, and it was very much Steve Evans' territory, wasn't it? Like that. And the same blue suit as well, I noticed. Let's have a look. I think we should have a whip round for the ref from Saturday's game to get him a new watch, says Michael. Ian says we've got to take our chances, which eases pressure on the defence. What about the defence, Nick? I mean, both Dion Conroy and Michio Baldry have had their critics. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
But they look pretty good at the minute.
Well, to be honest, if we do end up getting into playoffs and even going up, they're going to have to take a lot of the credit, I think, because they have been under a lot of pressure. I think you can tell with Dion, whenever there's a mistake made, you can kind of see he gets nervous quite quickly because I think the crowd do jump on him. But I was thinking when we lost Cooper, I actually thought at that point that was quite a hammer blow because he had looked that good. And so to pick it up in the last few games, I mean, and it's been mentioned before, Baldry's been amazing. So, if they can keep a clean sheet on Saturday, it does give us half a chance, doesn't it? But last couple of games, you can't really fault either of them, really.
No. What about Lewis Ward, Joe? What have you thought of Lewis's performances?
Yeah, I think he's quite solid. His kicking at times can be a little bit dodgy. There was a few occasions on Saturday and Tuesday night when he had the whole pitch to aim for and went out of touch. I don't know. I feel he's a bit more of a presence in the goal though than Woolacott. Maybe it is because he is that much bigger. And both the goals, the one that Forest Green scored and on Saturday, he did get he did make an initial save, but then it was sort of followed up and went in. So he's done well. I mean, I don't know why Woolacott didn't play. That was he ill that game? He just disappeared and then has been on the bench. I don't know whether that was he was genuinely dropped or what happened there. But no, I think Ward's done a really good job and deserves to keep his place.
Well, Johnny, I think it was Hartlepool, wasn't it? Was it a shoulder injury was given as the official reason?
Yeah, I think he said to us he didn't train all week and he wasn't at the the penalty shootout thing a couple of days before, so it's a shoulder injury. And then Ward was I think Ward was pretty good at Hartlepool, if I remember rightly. He didn't have a lot to do, but he made a couple of was it that one save from who's their striker? I forget, but he made that was it. Was it Mumbo? Yeah. The one save in the first half was pretty good, and then it was a case of if he hasn't played poorly, don't drop him. Whether I don't know, whether Walcott's injured or not is probably up for debate. But I think Ward's done well, and he wants to do well because he's got a contract next year as well. So you're thinking he's maybe trying to think, well, I've got an opportunity to play myself into number one spot. I'm going to take it, and I think like Joe said, his kicking isn't fantastic, but I think he's kind of one of maybe the last kind of breed of like the old school keeper where he's a good shot stopper. Like he makes saves. That I think also people forget that he made a save. Was it just before added time on Saturday?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
that was a great save. Save. Like he's put his hand out to keep out.
Well, the one that dipped and it just suddenly
like he makes big important saves, which I think is key. I think he was one of the sort of the last breed where he maybe isn't very good at kicking and with his feet and that sort of thing. But if the shot comes in, ultimately you want your goalkeeper to be a good shot stopper. I don't mind if he skews them, off the pitch out, a few times, as long as he's saving most. And the 2 goals he's conceded in the last week, I don't know, maybe he could have done better with the one on Saturday, but for the most part, you think about how many saves he's made. So he's done really well, and I'd fully back him to play again on Saturday.
Yeah, let's go back to Forest Green away, a penalty save and a terrific performance as well. He made 1 or 2 really crucial saves in that game, didn't he? Kevin says there's less pressure on the defence now. We're attacking more and going at teams from the start. And I think, Andrew, the last 2 home performances, that's true, isn't it? We haven't seen so much passing around at the back. It hasn't been so, if I might use the word, pedestrian. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it feels like that. There's been a bit more, I think, sort of tempo and energy at the start. And they've actually scored by their standards extremely early in both games, really, because I apologise if you've heard me trot this stat out before, but I think they'd scored, I think up to the Forest Green game, like 1 goal in the first 15 minutes of league matches. And, some of that, it does feel like it's been a conscious plan to just sort of pop the ball around, start trying to work the opposition around. But whether, the fact they've really had to put together a sequence of wins has focused the mind, or if Ben Garner's just decided to kind of adjust it, be a bit more positive. I mean, you've got a pretty sort of positive midfield with Payne and Williams, who's both instincts of attacking first. And, Reid can play a bit, even though he's our sort of holding midfielder. So you've got a sort of really attacking looking midfield and perhaps a bit more urgency. And lo and behold, you have goals, and, goals lift crowds, and the whole virtuous circle sort of continued for both of those games.
Also, Nick, backs to the wall jobs lift crowds, don't they? As with Forest Green at home, crowds love to see a team digging in and giving everything. And that's the sort of thing that really gets the crowd going, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that you talk about sort of pedestrian performances. I think we probably all came away from the Leyton Orient game sort of fearing the worst, and maybe we didn't have it in us at that point. But there were even moments in that game when it was mainly sort of side-to-side football and possession football without any real attacking verve, really. But there were still moments when somebody chases a ball down or someone puts in a big challenge. And it is sometimes little moments like that can lift the crowd. That stat about not scoring goals sort of early on, I think at home particularly, that does hurt us. And I do think we're going to benefit by being away in such a big game on Saturday. That there's not going to be that sort of nervousness. Perhaps I think our the way we set up away will really suit us for this occasion. But an early goal on Saturday would be great for them and amazing for us, I think, probably.
Yeah, it certainly will. Let's have a look. Alan says both great keepers. Ward in goal Saturday, but let's not forget what Jojo has done for us. True, but we've also scored deep into injury time. I think this goes back to Colchester, maybe, into injury time with to beat Oldham and Bradford penalty. That one, though, was particularly avoidable. Granted, that's the Colchester game, because that's true, Joe, isn't it? I mean, we do point to that Colchester game as 2 points drop, but Oldham at home, deep into injury time, the Dion Conroy header, that could have been 2 points dropped.
Yeah.
And also Bradford City away, wonderful moment when Jack Payne, has he stopped running yet, by the way? I think he's just run past my window. He's just, I think he's wound up big time. That penalty at Bradford City, deep into injury time, straight into the back of the net. Those are great moments, aren't they?
Yeah. And I think when you sort of look over the season, they tend to balance themselves out a bit, don't they? Like, you know, we can look back at games and say we should have come away with 3 points from Colchester, and, you know, other games as well. The Newport game, you know, we obviously dropped a point there with a late goal and things like that. But then, like you say, you can counteract that with other games when we've scored late and come away with 3 points as opposed to 1. So, yeah, I mean, if we miss out by automatics by a point or something, we're all going to be like, oh, if only we'd done this, if only we'd done that. It's just the nature of it, isn't it? But there's nothing you can do about it now, really, unfortunately. So
46 games in a season, Johnny. I mean, it's going to go either way on some of them, isn't it?
Yeah, like we said before, you know, it's like Joe said, you know, these things generally tend to even themselves out. But I actually think we've probably had the better of it in those sort of flip games, because when we've lost and they've usually been at home, we've been terrible. We've deserved to lose. So actually, a lot of the flip games, if you like, and things where it could have gone one way or the other, I would say, off the top of my head, I'd say we probably had a bit of the better of it. So you know, it's just about taking that luck, taking that good fortune, taking the momentum that they've got at the moment, and making sure it doesn't run out abruptly for some silly reason on Saturday, which I don't think it will.
Lots of comments still coming in. Michael says, laughed at the interview when Ben Garner said we only got to win 4 games and we're in the playoffs. I'm not laughing now, but fair play to the team. They've done what they needed to do. Steve says, can you ask Andrew if Ivo is coming back? Forest Green commentary was great. And another one here on the subject of you, Mr. Hawes. Can I ask Andrew if he's a lifelong fan or he's been welded in? Well, I can tell you he's a lifelong fan, Mark. As simple as that. He's my entertainment for when I cannot go. Thank him for his professionalism and commentaries. I've had to switch him off occasionally, but that's nerves, not your fault, Mr. Hawes. So well done.
It's weird. I really, it's like when I used to listen to Swindon games occasionally when they were on, even though I was out of the sort of area. I found it really, really hard going, regardless of who the commentator was. It wasn't you, Vic. Just to make that
thank
clear.
you very much.
But yeah, it can be hard work listening to the radio. But no, I'm afraid family gave me the Swindon gene, and there's no escaping. So first game at the county was at the county ground and all that. So.
Yeah, Ivo Graham, who's been on this panel before, how was he? Was he okay?
He was fun. Yeah, I think he seemed startlingly flattered, to be asked, which was nice. And I think he enjoyed it. You can hear him yelling in the background for both goals, which is good. Yeah, it was sort of a one-off thing, but I think he quite enjoyed it. So hopefully at some point we'll get him back. But he has a very busy professional schedule, I believe.
He does. I've seen him live a couple of times. He is very, very good, I have to say. Very funny. Especially, he was at the Devizes Road Arts Centre just before Christmas, wearing a Swindon shirt, and had a very good exchange with somebody in the front row. Nick, you won't believe this. Who had absolutely no interest in Swindon Town whatsoever. I mean, how does that work? I'm not sure. Right, let's start to... Yeah, it's hard to imagine, yeah. Colchester game, last minute equaliser springs to mind, playing against 9 men. That's from Alan. Derek says, poor results at home against poor sides have cost us dearly. So few points from already being up. So few points from already being up. That's what that means. Hi, Mitchell. I think we've won more points late on when we've lost this season, which I think is not normal for us. In my head, we always let in late goals. The crowd will be very loud, full of backing for the team. We'll be in the ground early. And Darren says, any truth in the rumour that we've asked for more tickets from Walsall? Well, we'll ask Johnny that in a minute if he knows the answer to that. I mean, Nick, where are you with this on Saturday? 3,500 to 4,000 people for an away game is extraordinary in the 4th division, isn't it? I mean, it's a bonkers amount of people.
I think there'll be more than that. I think. I mean, I haven't got a ticket, and I'm planning on trying to find a way to get one in whatever stand it needs to be in. But I think there'll be more than that. But you know, we've got a pretty healthy away following anyway, and it's not far. It's a biggie. I think, you know, whatever we're given, will go, and I think there'll be fans dotted all over the place as well, to be honest. So it's going to be some atmosphere, I think.
Certainly is. The only comparison I can draw is Sunderland at home a few years back, who pretty much took over the county ground when Kevin Phillips scored and they went up to the 1st division. That's the only comparison I can really draw, Joe. I mean, it is extraordinary. And here we are, all these months later, thinking we could automatically go up. I mean, the feel-good factor at the club right now is pretty high, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I think, you know, the crowd on Saturday, I mean, before I was coming in, there was a family asking where the Stratton Bank was. They'd never been to a game before. And they, you know, the chap just said, oh, you know, we just wanted to sort of come because they've been making quite a big thing of it. And there does seem to be a lot more sort of families. And I mean, my friend started going this season with sort of her children, and she used to go years ago, but hasn't gone for a long time. And has now got, as she said to me last night when we were out, I'm invested in them now. So, you know, it's sort of got that again for people. It's sort of bringing people in that haven't either been before or haven't been for a long time. And obviously, you know, Clem's got a lot to do with that, I think, and Rob Angus and, you know, what they've done for the club and to promote it and everything. So, you know, we do owe a lot to them. We
do. I mean, it's hard to overstate really the work behind the scenes, isn't it, Johnny? I mean, it just seems ridiculous that we've come so far in such a short space of time. I guess what they desperately need is a close season to sort a lot more of things out. That would be really helpful for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think ideally we go up 3rd, and then, you know, it sort of caps the most incredible season, and they can sort a few things out. And to be honest, it'd help the team as well, because I know, you know, they've had a bit of practice at a short turnaround to putting a squad together, but I don't think they really want to make a habit of it. So they probably need a bit more than a month, which is probably, I think, if we were to go up at Wembley, all they would get, or not even that. It'd probably be another couple of weeks again until pre-season starts. So. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's about, Town have done so well this year because they've got the right people in the right places. Obviously, you've got an owner that is invested, that wants to put money in to run it as an efficient business. You've got a CEO that not only is a Town fan, but has a smart business brain and cares about the club and the people. You know, you've had, I don't know, from my point of view, you've had a media manager who's, I think he gets a bit of stick, but I don't know why, because I don't think people quite understand how hard that job is. I'm telling you, it is so much harder than people think it is. He's done amazingly, we know, with kind of all that we've had to deal with, especially Man City and that sort of, you know, you got Danny in hospitality, that sort of thing. I could go on. You know, the people at the club are they've got so many good people in the right places, and that's why things have been able to, that feel good factor wasn't a little bit of a fireworks show at the start. It's why it's carried on. You know, we had a bit of a lull around Christmas when things weren't going so well, but that's football, so it sort of naturally happens like that. But yes, I think, like you said before, I think people, you know, you don't always get what you deserve in football, rarely, in fact. But I think if we could get promoted just for the people that have helped turn the club around, and the fans as well, to be honest, like, you know, because like we said, we've averaged this, I think it's like the 2nd highest crowd in the league behind Bradford. We're getting 10,000 on average for like the first time since the Premier League. You know, it's been, I think I used it sort of on the blog on Saturday. It's just, I'm really quite proud of them. You know, it's just, there's a feeling of pride no matter what happens. I'm just so proud of everyone, the team, the players, the fans, you know, for the most part. And it's been amazing this year. So yeah, we just hope they can kind of do it.
Yeah, I mentioned the Peterborough friendly to Joe a little earlier, and that was the first moment, I think, when you thought, something special might happen here, because it was 4,000 for a pre-season friendly, and people were coming back into the ground post-COVID. There was the takeover, and there was that era of positivity. One at Scunthorpe, of course, Andrew, Swindon being Swindon, lost at home to Carlisle on that first home game of the season. That's how it goes, isn't it? That is Swindon Town for you. Derek says a Wembley win and promotion is financially the best option for the club. That said, I hate the new Wembley with a vengeance. Don't we all, Derek? Everyone at the club has got the town bouncing again. Seeing more people around Swindon in Swindon Town FC tops. Proud to be a supporter of the club. Danny's done an excellent job in the background. Corporate side can't fault it. Rob says 72 years old, getting too old for this. 66, mate. I know how you feel. Right, Andrew, what about that spirit? Because you went, well, I know you and Johnny went through some pretty torrid times last year. We all know the reasons why. But what difference is there this year?
Yeah, I think there's a massive difference, and Johnny's done very well in like picking out some of the people behind the scenes who've made such a difference. But I think perhaps it's almost now we see quite how acidic and toxic the relationship was between the kind of fans and the previous owner. That so many people have come back, and what Joe has talked about is really interesting. That suddenly families want to go, and things like that. My neighbour a couple of doors down was talking about going because they sort of listen on the radio, and they finally sort of bought in, and I think we have to give some credit to the fans who have been frustrated, but then, Harry McCurdy said for Forest Green, put it aside, and even people who haven't enjoyed the football were like, for that night, we're going to put everyone sort of pulled in that direction, and anyone who was there, I think will remember that night for a while, and will want to come back, and will know what the experience kind of can be. So yeah, it's not something we used to, is it? Really, everything.
No, it's not. No.
Sort of behind the scenes appearing to sort of pull in one uniform direction, and but it's quite sort of gratifying how many people are sort of willing, I think, to give the club a second chance after the past few years.
I know this sounds weird, but as a football fan, you like to be a bit miserable, Nick, don't you? I mean, from time to time, you do like to be a bit miserable. Can't even say it. A bit miserable. Positivity is not something we're used to doing, is it? We don't do that, do we?
Well, I think as a club, we've had so many periods of uncertainty and bad owners, poor managers. Stemming back to the demotion from there, there's been so much chaos at our club that I think you kind of just get used to it. And so when things get bad, you kind of, well, this is just what we do. And it's quite refreshing to have someone come in like Clem, who we've gone from one extreme to the other. I think that's the sort of biggest thing. We haven't just sort of had someone come in and sort of saved us financially. It has the whole sort of wave of positivity swept in at the start of the season. And that isn't something that we're used to. I think that the time when we probably felt most stable and unified as a club in terms of ownership, fans, management was probably the Fitton era. I mean, even when in the early years of Power's reign, when it was good, it didn't feel as unified as it is now. So, which will buy the club some positivity if we don't go up this year. I think we'll have a whole summer to plan to have another go at it next year, and obviously if we do go up, then Clem and everyone else will ride the wave of positive that comes with it.
Yeah, and so they should. Anne says, I also think the foundation has brought in a lot of young supporters. The community foundation, of course, do magnificent work. So, we should say well done to them. Mitchell says, I'm a groomsman at a wedding on Saturday, but unfortunately can't go. But 3 of the 4 groomsmen are Town fans, so we'll be on our phone the entire time. That's the absolute nightmare, that, isn't it? Being at a wedding when there's an important football match on. One of the worst things, really. You're trying not to look as though you're not paying attention to the wedding, but unfortunately you have to. Did any of the panel see what McCurdy said about Forest Green Rovers on Two Old Duffers YouTube vlog? Anybody? No. Look, blank looks all around there. Lee says 100% agree. It's so fantastic to have the facilities and great people and volunteers that work there. Loads more coming in. So Claire says couldn't get a ticket for myself or my son, but look forward to hearing all the away day tales. Darren says my wife's never been interested before this season, but she's been to away games at Barrow, Carlisle, Rochdale, Harrogate, and Hartlepool. My goodness, some trips there.
That's love there.
Oh,
That's love you, yeah.
Yeah, I hats off. Andy, take your hat off. And we'll be at Walsall, 10 points out of 15. Simon says, let's hope we don't score. Just as the question is there anybody here who knows of any reason why? That's brilliant. That's really good, Simon. Yes, you can imagine that at that precise moment of the wedding, can't you, when all things go a bit strange. Right, let's have a look at the fixtures for Saturday then. Barrow against Northampton. Northampton in third place at the minute. Bristol Rovers, Scunthorpe. Bristol Rovers in fourth. Exeter against Port Vale. Exeter looking for 3 points to win the title. Port Vale might slip out of the playoffs altogether. Harrogate, Sutton. Leighton Orient, Tranmere. Mansfield, Forest Green. And, of course, Walsall against Swindon. Those are the fixtures, Johnny, which matter at the top of the table. Just to give you an update on what it is. Exeter top, they've got 84 points from 45 games. Forest Green second, 83 from 45. Then come Northampton, 77 from 45. Those are the top three. Rovers are in fourth. Worst goal difference than Northampton, but 77 from 45 the same. Mansfield, 76 from 45. Port Vale, 75 from 45. Swindon, 74 from 45. And the only two teams that can get above Swindon, it seems, Sutton and 73 from 45 and Tranmere 72 from 45. So, wow, there we are. It's all set up nicely. Johnny, where's your money?
It's gone Swindon, of course it is. Yeah, I'm nervous. I'm just hearing those fixtures and thinking I've got to watch the game, write the blog, do the match report, and and keep an eye on it. I'm already sweating. I'm nervous. Oh my god, I'm not looking forward to this at all. In a way, I am, because this is sort of when you become like the job I wanted to do. I've always wanted a situation like this, just something where I can report on what I hope will be like an incredible day, but also the stress that I'm going to be under is going to be off the scale. So we won't do it easily, will we? Because we never do. So it's not going to be like, we're not going to go 3-0 up and I can start score watching elsewhere. Then I'll probably be talking to Andrew quite a lot and saying, what's the score? What's the score?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I want people to tell me, to be honest, but everybody will be looking at their phones at Walsall on Saturday. But it was like that on Saturday at home against Barrow. I kept on saying to people, don't tell me, I don't want to know. I just get to the point where I just don't want to know, especially when Rovers were losing and then they kept coming back and back. And this is more on the wedding. You don't want to know what she's walking down the aisle to. I can't help falling in love with you. It's going to be hard not to scream Swindon. Interesting.
That's a sign.
Oh dear. Right, Andrew. I know you'll probably have reporters at about just every other game, won't you?
Hopefully, yeah. I think plans are being put in place. I hate to bring some negativity, but I can't see top three. I can't see both Northampton and Bristol Rovers losing. I think the good thing about Port Vale today is just looking, you can see a scenario where even if Swindon draw and Port Vale lose at Exeter, which is perfectly possible, given like the goal differences and everything else, that's probably enough. So that might be a handy sort of backup if things don't go as planned. The best good of Exeter can do us a favour. So that sort of kind of come into play today, and I'd be hopeful that Tranmere aren't going to make a late run. And Mr. Wellens, come on, you need to do us a favour. And
yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure going to his Orient's particularly easy game for them. So
I know with your Exeter University connections, you'd quite like Exeter to go up as champions. And
I would be very happy. I can't deny that there was some Scott Twine based Schadenfreude going on.
Yes, on Saturday.
Saturday lunchtime. I think Exeter have been the best side as well.
Yeah, and obviously where I live, I'd be delighted because a lot of my mates are Exeter fans, and they're a lovely club, so I wish them well. Jason says Barrow win, Scunthorpe win, Forest Green Rovers win, Swindon win, Exeter win, and win the title. So there we are. That's all sorted. Nick, what about you?
I don't think we'll lose, which is good. I think, Andrew, I think Tranmere are going to struggle at Orient. I think Orient have quite a tough side to play against now. Sutton, Harrogate, absolutely no idea what's going to go on there. Bristol Rovers, I think, have probably got the most comfortable afternoon, you'd think. Scunthorpe playing without pressure maybe, but I think Rovers are definitely going to win. I think they're going to nick third place actually, which probably means that we'll end up playing Northampton in the playoffs if we get there. I mean, you know, as long as we win and we do what we've got to do, that's all that matters really. But I think there's going to be a lot of twists and turns throughout the afternoon. But a nice early goal for us would really take the pressure off. But I do think Tranmere will struggle. Sutton Harrogate, I mean, God knows what will happen in that one. Yeah, you know, all we can do is control what we can do, isn't it? So I do fancy us to win. You know, I think but just being away from home and just the amount of support we're going to have, I just think that not having that pressure of being at the county ground is really going to help us on Saturday.
Yeah, Anne says, I think I'm going to be sat in a field Saturday, no phone or internet connection. I don't want to know until it's over. Same with the playoffs.
That's right.
Yeah. Simon says, we draw, Vale lose, Sutton win, Vale drop out on goal difference. It's really easy, Joe, isn't it? I mean, you know, ever so simple.
I think Vale might drop out, if I'm honest. I think Exeter will win because they will want to go up as champions. And it's a shame that actually Forest Green didn't have a wobble a little bit earlier, because bearing in mind the massive gap they had at one point, and now they've lost that top space. If they'd wobbled a couple of games earlier, then, you know, they could have been out of it as well. But I think we'll win. And I'm not often, I'm usually clear on the negative side. I think we'll win. I think we'll win 3-0 on Saturday. I think we'll go out on quite a thing. But yeah, I think Sutton will nick a playoff space and Vale will drop out.
Yeah, I 3-0's in my head as well, Joe. So I don't know.
why.
I don't know why either.
What have you two been drinking?
Yeah.
Can I have some more say as well?
Hang on, there we are. Nothing too strong. You know, I don't know. I just I don't know. It's just set up for Mr. McCurdy Saturday.
And I did say at the beginning I'd have the same team, but as we've been talking, I've obviously Odimayo came in for Iandolo because he was suspended. So be interesting to see what he does there. Because I mean, Odimayo I think had a decent enough game, but I do think we missed Iandolo going forward.
Actually, there's a comment way back, which would take me ages to scroll through on that very subject. He did have a great game, I thought, on Saturday. And what about the ticket situation, Johnny? Do we know any more? Are Walsall letting any more go, or is that it now? Do we know?
We were having a conversation about this today. I was basically going to email my mate at the EFL tomorrow, because I don't know if there's a rule where a home team is physically unable to offer a certain percentage. At the moment, I think I worked out we've got something like 33% of the seats in the ground. That Walsall, take about 2,000 home fans, or 2,000-3,000 home fans anyway. So I don't know whether we're literally not allowed anymore because they have given us the maximum amount that they're allowed. But I would think if they, because they've already had to move season ticket holders, so I'm not sure if it would be possible now. It's too late, or if they would, because if the tickets go on sale, I would imagine we would take them because it's an hour and a half up the motorway, and obviously pretty much everyone wants to be there. So
I did see on Twitter earlier that the trust have spoken to the club about, is there any chance of getting a screen? Because I think Port Vale are screening the Exeter game at their ground.
Yeah, that would be a good idea as well. I only said I don't think we should do that because I remember going to the county ground, was it 2010 when we played Millwall, was it? I think around that. Yeah, it must have been. Do we beat Millwall 3-2 or lose 3-2? I forget.
We lost because we were in a place. We were in a position to go up automatically
at one point. Yeah.
And
basically that happened, and it just brought back better memories. But I think that would be a good idea because obviously then people can kind of hopefully celebrate at the county ground, even if it's just in like the Legends Lounge, or if they open sort of the concourses and people can watch on screens, just so everyone's together. Because I think it'd be awesome to maybe speak to. I mean, I'm just on the fly planning here, so this is not for me to put into a play. But people like Boom, they've got a massive screen there, and you could get a couple of hundred people in their Boom Battle Bar. Just get, I don't know, up to you, Swindon.
Yeah, well, Wayne says club looking to show the game in the Legends, I hear. So maybe that's something. Actually, you brought back a very painful memory for that Millwall game. I did the commentary with a raging toothache. So for the most of the commentary, it was awful, I have to say. Anyway, thanks for bringing that memory back. Marvellous. I was going to ask you what your favourite moments of the season are, but we're kind of running over. So can we quickly go around? If you've got a very favourite moment of the season, I'll throw in a couple. The McCurdy goal against Man City, if you could bottle that and sell it in the county ground shop, I think that would be rather lovely. And two more for you. The penalty at Bradford City, which was just ecstatic, and Dion Conroy's header against Oldham. So there you are. Those are my moments of the season. Johnny?
Yeah, I think you said it. You said it pretty much. They're my favourites. I think the Man City, the goal, because it was... I felt like that moment encapsulated the whole season. It was basically, this is a joke. We are living a dream. Everything's going so like we didn't win the game, but it's Man City, so obviously. But the fact that we scored and it was like McCurdy to score it, who's basically just been for me the standout player of the season to score it, and it was like that one moment that everyone deserved. The stuff that we've been through to get to that point now where we were playing the best team, arguably, sorry, Liverpool fans. The best team in the world, and we were able to, like little old Swindon, were able to score against them and just leave a little bit of a cut on their face. That was awesome. I'll remember that forever.
Yeah, Andrew says McCurdy at Rovers. It was a magical moment, Andrew. I would imagine to commentate on that. I would imagine that moment will be with you forever, won't it?
Yeah, no, that was a great moment because it was all like this is the one chance, it's got to go right. Williams' pass was fine, and the finish, and you could just feel that energy. I'm not sure if it's the best, but it was quite emotional at the time. If you go back right to the start of the season, I think McCurdy's late goal at Scunthorpe was like, we've been through everything, we've won a game, and actually we might, I think we all knew that Scunthorpe were pretty bad, but it was just the first indication that actually it might all be a lot better than we thought. And
Wayne says
there was a lot of emotion there.
Andrew's hat falling off when he played football was the top moment. Andy says Reedy's winner on Saturday, best moment so far, was a cracking goal. Nick, your moment?
Yeah, I've just agree with Andrew actually that the early wins, which kind of made me think we're not just surviving here, we might actually do something. But for me, again, it was a City game. I took my two lads to the City game, and they've been quite a few times already, and the ground's never full. It was a really proper experience for them, and it was a nice sort of insight for them and what it used to be like when it was always full when I used to go as a kid. So even though it was a 4-1 defeat, it was a pretty special evening.
It was indeed. Walsall FA Cup win was brilliant. What about you, Joe?
I think you've covered most of them, really. Bristol Rovers away, because we obviously went 1-0 down there, and then turned that round to 3-1, and that felt like a little bit of a turning point in the season. So I think we then went on a bit of a good run. But somebody already mentioned it, Reed's goal on Saturday, but I think that was more of a relief. Because when they equalised, I think probably through everyone's head, it was like, oh, no, I just don't believe it. But then to literally go and score within the next few minutes, it was just that relief. And then I thought, well, we're not going to, that's it now. We've won this sort of thing. So,
yeah, brilliant moment. What about you, Chris?
I think you've covered all of them that I would have said Man City, but I think the best one was Dion against Oldham. It was just karma. Dion's excellent. I won't have anything bad said about him. And to get that goal must have meant the world to him. So, yeah, for that.
Yeah, Helen says Conroy goal versus Sheridan and his gesture. Nikki says Walsall FA Cup win and big win versus Walsall at home on a Tuesday night. Fingers crossed for the treble on Saturday. And also, I'd say that wonderful goal that Jojo Wallicott played the long ball to Josh Davison, who'd started in the own penalty area. It was classic Route 1 football. It was beautiful to watch. And it just you don't have to take 55 passes to get to the opposition penalty area. Wonderful goal. So there you are. That's another moment.
Mention for Josh Davidson as well, because he's got a bit of slack. I thought he didn't stop running on Saturday.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier, just sort of, not giving up. he just did that constantly, and the amount of balls he won, and so a lot of the time that goes a bit unnoticed. But I think he's been brilliant.
Mitchell says it wasn't actually the season, but the Peterborough friendly when Grant came off. It was that moment plus breath. We have a team. Mitchell, we demand pictures of the wedding on Saturday. I think we need to see pictures of you trying not to be interested in the football whilst the wedding is going on. That's. I think we're back next Monday, aren't we, Chris, to review the season?
We are. Yeah,
to continue the season, let's hope.
Well, that's right. We did call it a season review, but we'll change that as and when. So yes, so we are back next Monday evening, 7:00, and we will just see what we are talking about. Hopefully, it'll all be joy, and we'll all be still buzzing from the Saturday. So. But we'll see a lot of people at the dinner on Wednesday. So that's the end of season dinner. So hoping to see a lot of those. And that's when we do our awards. And I just want to say a big thank you to our senior mascots from Saturday. They had a brilliant day. Thank you for the Swindon Town staff because they looked after them so well. And it was just lovely to see them being able to do go on the field with the players and everything. So thank you to all the mascots that may be watching. So thank you, panel. Thank you very much. And thank you, Joe. I've just sent him a note to thank him. So we will see you next Monday. And it's going to be a long time till Saturday, but we'll get there, and 90 minutes will be yes. So goodbye, everybody, and see you soon.